And welcome to the Sports Media Beat. I'm Dan Lovallo. Haven't done one of these in a while. I know. We're going to try to do it on a regular basis. Let me remove my reading glasses here for those who are watching on YouTube. Let's begin with, and we're recording this on September the 27th, 2019. Let's begin with radio. Here's one for radio for a change. The New York Islanders, who by all accounts could have a good season this year. The New York Islanders have come to an agreement to get most of their games on the radio. And this is going to be on ESPN 1050 in New York. Just a little background. That was a Spanish-speaking ESPN sports station, and they're going back to English-speaking. That experiment didn't work out as far as ESPN Deportes, but maybe they can try it at another venue at some other time. It just wasn't the right time, apparently. But that said, they're going back to English programming, but I think what they're going to do is keep their programming separate from their FM. It all started out, by the way, ESPN 1050, and it has a rich heritage. It used to be WHN 1050 in New York, and it carried for many years Brooklyn Dodgers games, and then later New York Yankees games, and then New York Mets games. And then eventually the station was sold. It morphed into The Fan, and then The Fan moved down the dial to 660 AM. But that said, ESPN took it over, and they tried to give WFAN a run for its money, and then went to FM, 98.7 FM. And for a while, they simulcast with the AM, but eventually what happened was they separated the programming. They went to Spanish-speaking sports talk on 1050 AM. It didn't quite work out, so now they're going back to English-speaking. There still seems to be some debate whether they're going to simulcast or have separate programming. It appears right now it's going to be separate programming. But the bottom line is the New York Islanders are going to be back on the radio almost full-time. 60 of their games are going to be broadcast on the radio. And what's fascinating is the Islanders tried to do what the Los Angeles Kings did. And I still think it might be the future of broadcasting for some of these sports, and that is to develop your own app and listen to the game via app on your phone. As more automobile dashboards become integrated, you could listen to the games via the app in your car, in your automobile, and that's going to be the way of the future. But I think for the moment, the Islanders are happy to get a radio deal, and I think it's great because, you see some of these clubs going away from radio for whatever reason, including the broadcast rights, and the Islanders were among them. The LA Kings are among them. The Oakland Athletics are now doing it, but jointly with their games on radio. And now the big story, the New York Islanders have a future radio home. Some of their games are on WFAN last year, a select amount, but most of their games will be on ESPN 1050 this year. So that's a story that is worth following. And like I said, I think it's, my opinion anyway, it's good news. As a radio guy, and believe me, I love all of this new technology. Apps not only are the future, apps are now, but I think the future as far as broadcasting sporting events are concerned. ESPN knows that. Why do you think they're pushing ESPN Plus? Why do you think these other networks are developing their apps to get you to, if you're not going to watch on television, go to the app? Well, the same involves listening. Go to the app. And you're seeing, for example, Entercom, which bought CBS, getting big into podcasting. You're seeing, for example, iHeart, huge into podcasting, because they have to have that as part of their overall platform if they want to succeed. And it's the way a lot of these sporting events are going to go. It's the way a lot of these teams are going to go, either in conjunction with the radio or perhaps instead of radio, go to the app. But the Islanders are going back to radio full-time, essentially, with 60 of their games on ESPN 1050. Ratings news. The ratings slipped for the Sunday Night Football game between the Cleveland Browns and the Los Angeles Rams. The Browns got a 10.8 rating. I say slip. A 10.8 rating. That's almost 18.6 million people tuned in to watch that game on Sunday night. between the Cleveland Browns and the LA Rams. But that was down 6% in the ratings and 4% in viewership from last year, when the Patriots and Lions scored 19.46 million viewers. And then the year before that, 2017, Oakland and Washington got 17.48 million viewers. So it was right in the middle. Better than what the games did in Week 3 2 years ago on NBC. Not as good as last year. And maybe the Patriots have something to do with it. By the way, when I do these ratings, I think, to me, rather than a 10.8 rating, what does that mean? To a lot of people, that doesn't mean anything, right? But when you say viewers, that means a lot. So to me, I would rather talk about viewers. So when you see ratings slip, yeah, they slipped. You still scored better than just about any other programming on television that night, Sunday night. More than 18 million viewers. That's better than what most baseball postseason games do. So the NFL is not going to kick about that, as much as some people like to criticize the NFL. Now, also an increase for Week 3 for CBS. CBS posting the NFL's largest Week 3 audience in 5 years. You know, some in the media like to make a big deal out of, well, the ratings are down in the NFL, there's empty seats. I think the NFL is as strong as it's ever been. Do they have problems? Yeah. But still, people are not tuning out the NFL. They might have a couple of years ago, but I think that controversy has passed. The game between the Saints and the Seahawks helped CBS to its largest Week 3 NFL audience in 5 years. And a 63% of the markets had that Saints-Seahawks game. It averaged a 13 rating. Well, here we go again. Well, what does that translate into? 22.46 million viewers. That was better than prime time. The Saints-Seahawks did better than prime time. 22.46 million viewers. Again, that's better than any Major League postseason game except the World Series. And I'm not trying to trash baseball here. I love baseball. I broadcast baseball. But the NFL is the national pastime. You've got a game on a Sunday afternoon, the Saints and the Seahawks, getting more than 22 million viewers. That was better than prime time on NBC. And I repeat, better than any postseason baseball game, except the World Series. And it would give the World Series a run for its money. This was CBS. Ratings increased 2% last year on Fox for the Cowboys-Seahawks game, which got more than 22 million viewers. The national window has opened the season with 3 straight increases, the first time that has happened since 2013, according to one of the websites I'm reading here. Let me repeat that. The national window has opened the season with 3 straight increases. Now, the Drudge Report loves to run the NFL down. The Drudge Report always writes about empty seats, pictures of empty seats, and then they link to a Breitbart story. But they won't link to these stories. The fact that the ratings are up in the NFL. And here's CBS posting its largest 3-week audience in 5 years. Now, let's get back to the new media for just a moment. I want to talk about Facebook, because ESPN will make exclusive shows for Facebook Watch. This story just breaking this week. To try and keep viewers more engaged, ESPN will run watch parties, polls, and live Q&As. The Facebook Watch version of Fantasy Focus Live, for instance, will welcome opinions and questions from fans. Here's what ESPN is saying. This is a statement which was released by Ryan Spoon, ESPN's Senior Vice President of Digital and Social Content. We are extending some of our most popular ESPN shows and creating new ones with content available only on Facebook and Facebook Watch. This allows us to connect with fans and drive the conversation around sports in a way that leverages what we and the platform do best. Which reminds me, if you have any questions for Sports Media Beat, you can contact me via my website, sportsmediabeat.com, or you can follow me on Facebook, too. Just go to Sportscaster Dan, and my Facebook page will come up, and you can ask a question that way as well. That's going to do it for the latest edition of the Sports Media Beat. I have to beat it to record another podcast. I do a weather podcast with award-winning meteorologist Brad Field. Check that out. And also be sure to check out the Sports Media Beat. We're in all the podcast directories. And I know I've made this promise before. I'll try again, and that is to be more consistent with the Sports Media Beat podcast. Talk to you soon.